hopefully we can get a good number of people today. And yeah, can you, just to make sure that your 2 accounts are mute. I will share my screen now while waiting for participants to join. Can you all see my screen?
Yes. Yes, Jingjing.
That's good, because I can't see you when I share my screen. Also, I want to check that you can hear the sound from the video.
Good morning. As
Can you hear it?
Distinguished guests and brilliant minds gathered here today at the room.
That's good. I guess because at the moment it's 12 o'clock, it's around lunchtime in Australia. How about in Malaysia and Indonesia? Should be morning.
Yeah, we're still early in the morning, 10 o'clock here in KL.
Yeah, overall we have 100.
Jingjing, you are not sharing the presentation slide.
Sorry, I just checked in the Google chat. We saw for these 2 days symposium, we have overall 118 registrants. So this morning for the first session, we have 26 people join at the peak time. So in the afternoon session, in this session, we hope we can get a good number. I guess we are waiting for another 2 minutes and just get started. People may join later. Hello, everyone. We will get the session started very soon. Okay, welcome everyone. The session 2 today will be started now. First, on behalf of the Women's Research Engineers Network, WREN, I'm so pleased to welcome you all to the WREN Symposium 2025. Now in its third year, the symposium themed Collaborating Towards the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, brings together researchers from Australia, Brazil, Malaysia, Indonesia, and beyond. It celebrates the work of women research engineers and all those who support gender diversity and equity in STEM research. My name is Jingjing Liu. I'm a research fellow at the University of Sydney. I will be the moderator of this session. I'm excited to hear your thoughts and connect with you today. So before we started, I just want to let you know this event will be recorded, but it will only be used for internal purpose. Please mute yourself when you're not speaking, and feel free to use the chat box to introduce yourself, which country you're from, and also send us your questions during the Q&A. And also, I want to let you know that at the end of the session, we will share a feedback form in the chat box, so you can vote for your favorite presentation in the session. You will receive a certificate of participation from WREN after you complete this survey form. So please stay until the end of session if you can. First, I would like to acknowledge the Darwin country I am based in and the lands that the University of Sydney's campus stand on, and pay my respect to past, present, and emerging. To get started, I'd like to say some words about the Women's Research Engineers Network, WREN. So for people who are not familiar with WREN, we are a global network led by women with a vision for equity in the engineering research community from early to mid and senior academic levels. WREN was first launched in 2021 as a collaboration between Australia and Brazil. In 2022, WREN expanded the network to Asian countries, including Malaysia and Indonesia. Now our global reach is growing to different continents. As a network striving for gender equity, WREN aims to amplify the voices of women in all areas and thank them for their support and amazing work. WREN has been delivering many events from academic writing and career development workshops, networking events, and our annual symposiums. All our events are for free. So if you want to know more about what we are doing, check out our website, the WREN.global, and join our network. The membership is for free and open to everyone regardless of gender and background. So here is the agenda for this session today. First, we will have a 15 minutes keynote presentation, including Q&A. And then we will have 4 oral presentations, followed by the voting and closing. Each presenter will have 10 minutes for their presentations and 3 minutes for Q&A. If you'd like to receive a certificate of participation from WREN and vote for the best presentations, please fill up the feedback form that will be shared in the chat box at the end of the session. We'd love for you to stay until the session wraps up if you can. So it's my great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker today, technologist Norazalina Mohammed Sani from Marathi Corporation Subsidiary Berham, Malaysia. Nora Sani is an innovation strategist with over a decade of experience in policy, research management, and ecosystem development. She leads future tech at Marathi, driving Malaysia's innovation agenda under MOSTI and MOF. Her work aligns closely with SDG 9 industry, innovation, and infrastructure, focusing on industry partnerships, emerging technologies, and sustainable infrastructure. Nora hosts registered technology transfer professionals and technologists credentials. She was named one of the 100 women in the GovTech 2024 with a master in project management and a background in business. She bridges government, academia, and industry. She also advises in autonomous tech and additive manufacturing, contributing to national innovation sandboxes and secure technology transfer. So our keynote speaker has prepared a record video for her presentation today, and I will play it in a moment. She will be with us live today and will be able to answer all your questions if you have right after the video. So feel free to drop your questions in the chat box at any time. We will go through them during the Q&A session afterwards.
Hi. Good morning, esteemed colleagues, distinguished guests, and brilliant minds gathered here today at the Women Research Engineers Network 2025 Symposium. It is a profound honor before you, representing a diverse tapestry of researchers from Australia, Brazil, Malaysia, Indonesia, and beyond. Together, we are not just participants in this symposium, we are pioneers, innovators, and advocates for transformative change. Today, we gather under the inspiring theme of collaborating towards the Sustainable Development Goals. This theme resonates deeply, encapsulating the essence of what we, as women in engineering and research, strive to achieve, not merely for personal advancement, but for the enduring benefit of generations to come. Before we delve further, let us acknowledge the extraordinary contributions of women in STEM. Your unwavering dedication, groundbreaking innovations, and remarkable resilience are actively shaping a brighter future. From physicians and biological scientists conducting vital research to engineers leading major construction projects and researchers developing life-saving breast cancer prediction models,
Đây là thằng hơi
women are making indelible marks on the
我要
global
white
science
啦，
and technology
一
scene.
直要拿 yellow light 给我，我不喜欢 yellow light，我不能 yellow light 不能。
Sorry, I can hear some background noise. Can you please mute yourself if you're not speaking?
I muted him.
That's good, thanks. So I'll keep playing the video.
Gender diversity and equity in research. Your commitment to fostering an inclusive environment where every voice is heard and valued is deeply appreciated. As we gather here today, we are reminded of the urgency of our mission. The Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, adopted by the United Nations in 2015, provide a vital blueprint for a more sustainable and equitable world. Achieving these ambitious goals demands more than awareness. It requires decisive action, robust collaboration, and inspired innovation, qualities that are demonstrably inherent in the work of women engineers. Our focus today is specifically on Sustainable Development Goal 9, SDG 9, which aims to build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization and foster innovation. This goal acknowledges the critical role these elements play in promoting sustainable development and ensuring a more just, a resilient future for all. It emphasized the necessity of balancing economic development, environmental sustainability, and social equity. SDG 9 is structured around specific targets: developing sustainable, resilient, and inclusive infrastructure, promoting inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and fostering innovation, enhancing research, and upgrading industrial technologies. Adequately addressing SDG 9 is pivotal as it impacts many other SDGs, including job creation, women's employment, health, environmental protection, and resilient cities. Women engineers are uniquely positioned to lead this crucial charge. We bring in valuable talents, perspectives, creative problem-solving powers, and an unwavering commitment to social responsibility. Research consistently demonstrates that diverse teams are inherently more innovative and effective. By ensuring women's full participation in engineering and research, we not only elevate the quality of our work, but also guarantee that the solutions we develop are both equitable and sustainable. Innovation and technological progress are keys to achieving economic growth, creating jobs, and finding lasting solutions to environmental challenges. Women engineers are at the forefront of designing technologies that harness solar, wind, and hydropower, vital for sustainable industrialization and energy efficiency. In Brazil, for instance, visionary female researchers are driving innovations in bioenergy, creating sustainable solutions. Women are also leading projects that integrate smart technology into urban planning, ensuring our cities are not livable only but also resilient to the growing challenges of climate change. Furthermore, engineers play a pivotal role in leveraging technologies from the fourth industrial revolution, 4IR, like artificial intelligence, AI, robotics, and IoT to advance SDG 9, particularly in underdeveloped communities by fostering industrialization, innovation, and infrastructure development. These technologies such as AI for predictive analytics, IoT for real-time monitoring and control, blockchain for transparency, 3D printing for distributed manufacturing, biotechnology for sustainable agriculture, and 5G for enhanced connectivity offer opportunities to address complex challenges and create more efficient, inclusive, and sustainable systems. Promoting access to research, technology, and innovation is a key aspect of SDG 9. Academic studies are even exploring how intellectual capital IC and sustainable intellectual capital SIC, which integrates environmental, social, and economic concerns, can drive the achievement of SDG 9 targets. This requires interdisciplinary research combining knowledge from various fields, including engineering and ecology. Despite our significant contributions, the path for women in STEM is often a steep climb. We still face underrepresentation, especially in senior and leadership roles. The phenomenon known as the leaky pipeline sees women leaving STEM careers at various stages after graduation. Globally, women only make up 35% of the world's researchers, a figure that has not significantly shifted in a decade. While some countries in the global south, such as Malaysia and Indonesia, show nearly 70% women earning postgraduate degrees in natural sciences, mathematics, and statistics. The percentage of women in the professional STEM workforce can be much lower. For instance, only 25% in Malaysia. Even in countries where women constitute a significant portion of researchers like in Central Asia, Azerbaijan, Tunisia, Thailand, Bolivia, and Venezuela, challenges persist. Historical, social, cultural, economic, and institutional factors contribute to these challenges. These include gender biases, masculine cultures that hinder success by valuing traits often linked with masculinity and reinforcing stereotypes, differential treatment like denying promotional opportunities, and conflicting gender expectations such as societal norms that push women to prioritize motherhood over careers. An alarming statistic from a UNESCO report found that over a third of women reported sexism, harassment, or gender-based violence as being a top challenge. The difficulty of balancing domestic responsibilities and career growth is a significant barrier for many women, often forcing them to make difficult choices. Addressing these barriers requires tailored policies. These include gender-sensitive hiring and promotion policies, parental leave, caregiving support, flexible work arrangements, and anti-harassment measures. Government initiatives such as those in Malaysia, led by Talent Corp, like the Career Comeback Program and the Women Industry Network, aim to help return women in the workforce by offering support networks and mentoring. Mentoring programs specifically for women in STEM are crucial. Grassroots movements like Parent in Science, PIS in Brazil, are vital in addressing structural issues like the motherhood penalty by advocating for institutional changes and supporting parents in academia. However, we must recognize that we cannot achieve this goals alone. Collaboration is the very cornerstone of our success. The challenges we face are multifaceted and complex, demanding interdisciplinary approaches and genuine partnership that transcends borders. Achieving the SDGs require breaking down traditional silos and sharing knowledge freely. When women actively participate in decision-making processes, we witness a more comprehensive and nuanced approach to addressing complex global challenges. As we collaborate across borders and disciplines, let us not merely include women at the table, but amplify their voices. Consider the case study from Southampton, UK, where repurposed shipping containers were used for affordable and sustainable housing. This project, aligning with SDG 9 principles, not only provided cost-effective and environmentally responsible housing, but also benefited the vulnerable community. Such initiatives often require collaboration across engineering discipline, architecture, social work, and local government. Similarly, a project in Colombia involved female apprentices working with environmental engineers and sustainability experts to transform polluting industries into greener practices, demonstrating how collaborative, hands-on approaches with female role models can break gender stereotypes and drive sustainable development. So, what decisive actions can we take as empowered women engineers and researchers to drive meaningful change towards SDG 9 and beyond? I urge each of you to act within your sphere of influence, mentor a young woman in your community, sharing your story and inspiring them to pursue STEM careers. Advocate for inclusive policies within your workplace that promote gender equality in research funding, mentorship programs, leadership opportunities, and work-life balance. Passionately share your research with a broader audience, increasing visibility and attracting support. Leverage platforms like this symposium and other networks, including those supported by organizations like Women in Tech, to connect, collaborate, and facilitate opportunities. It is encouraging to see initiatives like the National AI Office in Malaysia actively seeking qualified individuals for key positions and aiming to outline specific efforts and discuss policies to address challenges faced by women in technology. Grassroots movements and initiatives likewise by Livernas are also vital in addressing structural issues and fostering support networks for women in STEM. Explore innovative research methods like AI and big data analytics in your work to demonstrate creativity and drive change. Be persistent and passionate in pursuing your goals, learning from challenges as stepping stones for growth. In closing, let us remember that our purpose extends far beyond merely discussing the Sustainable Development Goals. We are here to make them a tangible reality. Together with others, the power to create a world where gender diversity is the norm, where women engineers are celebrated and uplifted, and where our collective efforts lead truly sustainable solutions for all. We are not simply engineers, we are change makers. We hold the power to shape a more sustainable and just future, to challenge outdated norms, and to inspire others to join us on this transformative journey. Let us continue to collaborate boldly, innovate tirelessly, and advocate passionately for a world where gender equality is not just a lofty ideal, but an everyday reality. Together, we will achieve the Sustainable Development Goals and forge a brighter, more equitable future for all humanity. Thank you for your unwavering commitment, your passionate dedication, and your profound belief in the power of women in engineering. Together, we will not merely change the world, we will transform it. Thank you. Before wrapping up, I bring you to Meranti Park located in Bukit Jalil, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, where we are the agencies that accelerate commercialization from ideas to impact. Thank you.
Imagine if all ideas were celebrated, given equal opportunity to make an impact. Imagine an ecosystem which unleashes innovation, where researchers, innovators, and change makers collaborate to realize ideas from lab to market. This is Malaysia's premier innovation hub, a towering symbol of national excellence in research, development, commercialization, and innovation. Developed across 3 main precincts, accelerating ideas to impact, from research to production. Aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, striking a harmonious balance between development and nature. A center for connection and collaboration, bringing together communities, celebrating innovation, technology, art, and culture. Together, elevating Malaysia to the global forefront. Accelerating ideas to impact. Welcome to Meranti Park.
Thank you, Nora, for your presentation. It's very inspiring. And thank you for sharing, introducing us to Meranti. I'm sure it will inspire some of us, the young generation, to explore opportunities with your institution and make a meaningful impact with you. And now we have some time for questions and discussions. We'd love to hear your thoughts or anything you'd like to ask our keynote speaker, Nora. Feel free to type your question in the chat box or raise your hand if you like to speak. So I will stop sharing my screen now so we can see Nora's face. So we got some questions in the chat box. I will just read them out. Ira said, such an inspiring talk, Miss Nora. Thank you. And we have a question from Nisha. So what inspired your journey into STEM, and how did it shape your leadership role today at Meranti?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you to everyone. Thank you for the questions. Basically, yes, even I'm from a business background and also project management background, but I'm a science student and I also involved with the Ministry of Science and Innovations when I'm start my career working in government. So along the way, I saw the gaps regarding the researchers, how to turn their ideas into commercializations. So based on that problems or challenges that they're having, this is where I come up with the blueprint of Malaysia commercialization year that time in 2013. So that inspired me how I can bring my experience in industry to implement or to help the researchers in the academia, of course, where the ministry overview these universities and come up with certain policy or guidelines and also framework. So that time this blueprint have been go through so many layers. So this is inspired me a lot, where I do have my own challenge to execute the blueprint of Malaysia commercialization year in 2015. So up to date is already 2025. It's successfully completed in 2020 with 365 products and innovation and solution, and also is about 542 millions revenue generated from the commercialization activities. And also there is a hype or a vibes already in agency, in universities, about how to translate the research into the commercializations, turns into the revenue, profit or royalty to the researchers. So this is something that I bring along until I joined Meranti, where Meranti is an agency under Ministry of Science. So where I'm focused more on the operational instead of the governance and also the think tank in terms of the policy side. After being more than almost 7 years in government, so I'm looking how I can turn my leadership roles into more operational activities. So I involve a lot of programs, and also right now I'm oversee a living lab. This is the idea of a sandbox, is a testing site for the researchers to bring their prototype into the real testing environments. So Meranti Park have about 686 acres where our park can accommodate your research or your product or solutions to be testing in our park. But then if let's say our park doesn't able or not suitable for your R&Ds to be tested, we have our sandbox partners as well under the National Innovation Technology Sandbox, where this is the initiative by the government of Malaysia to accelerate all the research into commercializations. So yeah, this is where my role is taking along the way until today. So I do involve a lot of engineers. Even my team itself, I have about 6 men's engineers, and also they are looking for different categories or clusters to help me in terms of the living lab operationals.
Thanks, Nora, to share your long journey with us. And we have a few more questions here. So this question is from Chang. She said, good sharing, Tis Nora. May I ask, how can industry academia partnerships work together to support women engineers working on sustainable projects?
Okay, thank you for the questions. So basically, in Meranti itself, we do have a team that looking into the partnership and also looking at the engagement between the industry, where we call it innovation ecosystems. So this innovation ecosystem work closely with the industry and also the academia. We are not looking specifically for the woman, but we are looking how to be inclusive to the others as well, because Meranti serve from primary, secondary up to the communities or more older communities. So it's not only the industry and also the academia in that perspective. So if I may share with you, we also have a collaboration with Institute Engineers of Malaysia and the Women section to host their third IE Women Engineers Conference this upcoming November as well. So this is one of the things that Meranti also looking at how we can be more inclusive into the ecosystems. So for the women and also for the female students, we do have a lot of program for them to come and also to work with Meranti. Yeah.
That's great to know. We can say the future is bright to have the leader like you to inspire more young women involved in engineering. That's good. And we have a question from Sachinta. Sachinta said, thanks for sharing with us. What policy are in place in Meranti to support women engineers to have an inclusive environment? So can you tell us more about in Meranti, what kind of policy the company are using to support the women engineers?
Okay, basically, we don't enforce any policy in Meranti for the women specifically, but we do have a flexibility in our working arrangement in terms of work from home and also in terms of the maternity leave up to 100 days, 120 days basically. And also we do have a breastfeeding room for the women. So this is some of the facilities and also some flexibilities offered by the Meranti. Besides that, we also have the understanding in terms of any department or any divisions for numbers of between male and also female in that particular unit, or how they can diversify in terms of races, religion, and also genders. So Meranti doesn't have very specific or enforcement in terms of policy, but then we do understand because we are the government agency, so we are much more follow in terms of the inclusivity as well.
Nice. I really like you sharing.
Yeah. I hope the answer is answering you, Sanchita.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Nora. I really like you mentioned when we talk about inclusivity and diversity, it's not only about women. We need to involve men in as well. And also the system need to support us. Like when you talk about the breastfeeding room, and I know same in Australia and other countries, we try to encourage more maternity leave for men employees so they can come back to the family, take more responsibilities in the family, so the women can go back to the employer world to, do their amazing job. I think that's a systematic problem we need to work on together. So I really like your points.
Yeah, because Meranti also have a paternal leave for the fathers that just received their babies. So they're going to have 3 days, if I'm not mistaken, 3 days for leave.
That's really great. Yeah, I hope like people joining from Malaysia, you can keep an eye on Moranti, say if there are any open positions there, apply for a job there, you will be really happy to have work-life balance. Nice. And I think the next 2 questions we can ask more about, like the question also from Sachinta is about how do you think we can elevate more women in leadership roles in STEM-focused organizations in Malaysia? And what's the barriers did you personally face as a woman in technology or innovation ecosystem, and how did you overcome them? So it's more about sharing your stories, or do you have any experience as a leadership role as a woman?
Yeah, I think at the national level itself, under the Ministry of Women, there is some policies or some of the issues or highlights by the ministry itself in terms of the women in their career or organization, and also some of the policy to protect the woman itself. So basically at the national level for Malaysia, yes, we do have, and also we do have the national policy for the woman. So basically, if you are looking at how Malaysia, and also how women in Malaysia in STEM specifically, there are a lot of programs and also the support systems that available, such as a woman in tech in Malaysia, and also we have a woman in trade, investment, and also leaderships, but some of the organization, non-profit organization as well. So basically, we have a numbers of organizations, non-profit organization, basically in Malaysia that supports women in various of ways, not only policy at the national level, but then also in terms of the capacity building programs, in terms of the funding, in terms of assisting them in terms of the socio-economic example. So this is some of the initiative by the governments. For example, single mother fund for small and micro, medium enterprise. So there is some funds basically offered to this woman. So if let's say for the researcher put aside, so there is some grants that available that they can capture under scholarships, example, for them to pursue either master or PhD from the certain agency that offered. So I think in Malaysia we have a lot of initiative, and also assistance provided by the government, and also from the non-profit organization as well. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing your experience and all the approaches that you observe from different perspectives. And I would say it's really inspiring to say role model as you, because we all know, as you mentioned, the leaky pipeline. We can say we are losing women in the career progression path. So we really, within WREN, we really want to understand what's the barriers or challenges that we are facing in different stages of our career, so we can try to address them together. So Nora, I have a question from myself. It's similar to what Sachinta asked at the last. So I know you mentioned there is some serious number that how least the women representative on the table. So as one of the women on the table to be the leadership role, especially in advanced technologies, have you ever been like in any challenges or any stories that not that, positive, that you would feel comfortable to share with us, or any stories that you heard, any challenges? that you think the women leader will face? Thanks.
Yes, I think most of the women leaders have this kind of difficulty or challenges, even is not being transparent enough or not to be seen. But as a woman, a figure that very sensitive, we can feel very deeply inside our heart, of course. So there is some challenges in terms of how we want to being voiced out during the meetings, and also how we want to show our leadership capacity in terms of how we can give our commitment. So basically, yes, I do have some challenges during my career. So basically, for me, I don't see there is a challenge, but I turn into the opportunities, how I can turn that situation to become positive and more favor to my side, and also not using some reasons or some excuses because I am a woman. So basically, it's how you present yourself, and also how you want to negotiate or communicate with the parties involved during the communications. So basically, don't put yourself into the negative perceptions, but then turns into the positive way, how you want to turn it to become an opportunity for yourself, and also how you want to be persuasive to the other parties as well. So basically, it's how you present yourself, and also to communicate with your bosses or your colleagues. So I avoid to use as well like a lady boss style or leadership, because we know that most of the men are not very likely to be command, and also to be little by the women leaders. So how we want to put them into the same table, and also to communicate. So such as inspiring leaders. For your information, Jingjing, our chairman is a woman, is a Prof. Rafina, Dr. Yasmin Hani. And also our chairman for Malaysia Professional Technologies, or Malaysia Board of Technologies in Malaysia, chairman is Tan Sri Engineer Dr. Siti Hamisah Tafsir. So basically, in technology or in engineering perspective, is led by the woman. You see, so I'm looking at how very they are being such a leadership roles in these ecosystems. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, that's really great. And thanks, Nora, as Nisha mentioned in the chat box, such inspiring for all women in STEM. And thanks for the sharing, Nora. And also, I would like to say a big thank you for you to being seen. Like you said, we all know we can't be what we can't see. So today we see you as a role model. The next few years, you wouldn't imagine how many young generation will follow your steps to be the future leaders. And as you say, it's so inspiring to say the women leaders in Malaysia and in the ecosystem. So we believe we can do it and make it as good as anyone else. So thank you very much, Nora. Thanks. We don't have more questions, so I will say another thank you to Nora, and we will go on to the next sessions. I will share my screen again. So before we go on to the next step, I just want to show that we have a photo time. So So now we are on the halfway through the sessions. It's time to have a short break. Let's take a group photo together. Could I ask everyone to turn on your cameras and give us your biggest smile? Our technical support, Sachinta, will take the photo for us. So ready? So everyone turn on your cameras if you like. Ready?
I guess, Jing, you have to stop sharing, then whole screen will
That's
come on.
good reminder. Nice. Okay, 3, 2, 1, cheers. Let's have another go just in case. 3, 2, 1. Sachinta, did you get some good ones? That's great. Excellent. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Move on to our oral presentations. Just a quick reminder, each presenter will have 10 minutes for their presentation, followed by 3 minutes Q&A. To help us to stay on track, I will give you a time cue when there is only 1 minute left. Please aim to wrap up your presentation by then. So I just want to check, do we have our first presenter, Kaiten, here? Just want to double check, it's Kaiten here? If Kaiten is not here, we will move on to the second presenter. The second presenter will be Xintong Li, and the title of the presentation is Driving Technology Adaptation, Digital Tools to Drive Nonprofit Organizations' Efficiencies. So Xintong, I will give you a time cue at the last 1 minute, and please try to wrap up your presentation by then. Now I will stop sharing my screen and hand it over to you, Xintong.
Hey everyone.
Hello.
Can I share my screen for the slides or?
Yes, you can if you
Okay.
find the share screen button on the top.
Yep, I will do so.
And also you can check the presenter mode as side by side, so we can see both your slides and your face on the screen.
Okay. Are
Excellent.
you seeing my?
Yes, we can
Right.
see the screen.
See the screen, and do you guys see me as well?
We can see
Yeah,
you.
okay. I will go ahead. So, hey everyone, my name is Sintong. You can also call me Tiffany. I am currently completing my honours degree at the University of Technology, Sydney. Today I will be talking about my extended abstract based around my honours research topic, driving technology adoption, digital tools to drive nonprofit organizations' efficiency. So let's begin with why I think my research contributes to the SDG 11 of sustainable cities and communities. So the nonprofit sector are often the front lines of delivering essential social services, especially to the vulnerable population. However, many struggle to adopt digital technologies due to various factors, limiting the scale of their missions. So digital transformation allows nonprofit organizations to streamline their operations, automate manual tasks, and potentially even offer their services through online platforms. This don't only improve efficiency, but ensures the services are more inclusive, reaching individuals who may face barriers to traditional engagements. With that being said, it will allow nonprofit organizations to be more resilient pandemics or natural disasters, maintaining communication with stakeholders to provide remote services, delivery with minimal downtime. So overall, nonprofit organizations generally operate at the intersection of civil society, government, and private sector, delivering essential services like food security, education, and emergency relief, often filling the gaps being left out by the public system. So strengthening nonprofit organizations through digital transformation can enhance the community ecosystem, contributing directly to a more sustainable, inclusive, and resilient city, which is in close alignment with the SDG 11. So moving on, I would like to provide some background information into the research domain of digitalization in the nonprofit sector and why I sort of gained an interest in this area. So my interest began through personal experience. I actually started intern volunteering at a nonprofit organization, and over time, I witnessed some operational bottlenecks. There was a growing awareness within the sector around the importance of digital tools and systems as they began to recognize that staying connected with up-to-date technology can enhance their impact. However, I also saw firsthand the significant struggles the organizations face collectively when trying to integrate the most basic digital processes. These challenges sparked my curiosity and led me to ponder, why is digital transformation so difficult for this sector, even when the process and tools themselves seem simple and intuitive? So this formed the foundation of my research. Whilst digital transformation is reshaping industries and driving innovation globally, the nonprofit sector remains underexplored in this space. Nonprofit organizations have a unique combination of resource constraints, including limited technical expertise and mission-driven culture that sets them apart from the for-profit sector. Even in developed countries where infrastructure and tools are readily available, nonprofit organizations continue to face barriers to digital integration. It is also found that the existing literature in this domain is quite narrow in scope, focusing on single cases, organizations, or specific regions, making it quite difficult to form a holistic understanding of the sector's challenges. So my aims and objective is to identify the key factors impacting digital adoption within the nonprofit organizations. This involves exploring relevant theoretical frameworks, uncovering common barriers and enablers, analyze collected data to provide actionable insights to support the sector's digital transformation, which is to ultimately address the barriers to technology adoption in nonprofit organizations through designing a mobile app prototype tailoring to nonprofit organizations' needs. So this project is being completed for myself over the time frame of 2 semesters in 2025. So I am currently halfway through this time period. So I've completed the literature review and begun the draft of the methods chapter 2. However, I have not yet progressed to the design thinking and prototype development stage. During the construction of my methods chapter, there was a delay in the ethics approval process, leading to my inability in conducting a primary data collection through interviews and surveys with stakeholder as I initially have planned. But to ensure the continuity of the project, I have chosen AI-generated data with my initial intended data collection method. And in the future, if provided the opportunity, I definitely intend to resume and complete the original data collection process as a part of my comprehensive study. And so the 2 methods I have included in my extended abstract are the scoping review methodology following the PRISMA extension framework and the design methodology for an application prototype. So for the literature review, I searched across 3 major academic databases, including Scopus, Web of Science, and Science Direct, using consistent search strings. The review followed the standard identification, screening, and inclusion phase processes, and 13 peer-reviewed articles were selected to be included in the research, each aligning closely with the topic of digital adoption in the nonprofit sector. And the use of design thinking methodology is also proposed to develop a mobile app application tailored to the needs of nonprofit organizations. Design thinking is known for its human-centered, iterative approach and includes stages like empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and testing. These stages consider factors like user involvement, strategy, and collaboration. The first stage is sort of completed, I guess, and that first stage is empathize, which is sort of informed through a combination of my literature review, data collection, and firsthand experiences working with nonprofit organizations, focusing on understanding the challenges and context of the users. By utilizing academic findings and personal observations, I aim to build a well-rounded picture of the problem space. However, again, I would like to mention that this part of the project has not yet really begun for myself. It is still in an early planning stage where specifics are yet to be fully shaped. But the ultimate goal is to eventually design a hi-fi app prototype with nonprofit stakeholders and then test its usability as well as ensure it meaningfully addresses the barriers of digital adoption. And so the results from Prisma, 3 dominant themes emerge, including unique organizational characteristics, critical role of leadership, and lack of digital expertise. There were other barriers identified as well, but it appeared to be less prominent across the reviewed studies. These findings make it clear that digital transformation is not simply a matter of acquiring the right tools, but without attention to organizational readiness, leadership vision, and capacity building, even the most suitable technologies will fail to make a meaningful impact. If these challenges continue to be overlooked, many nonprofit organizations risk falling behind, which will limit their potential of growth and result in less broader contribution to sustainable cities and communities. And yeah, that's it. Thank you everyone for listening, and feel free to share any questions you've got about my research topic.
Nice, Xingtong, well done. Perfect timing.
Thank you. I'm just going to stop sharing now.
Nice. Do we have any questions for Xingtong's work? I want to ask a question, start with a question. So yeah, we got one question from Yue. So Yue said, a great talk. So what would be the next steps forward?
So the next steps forward would be the prototype stages of my research. And of course, I would like to do the data collection process as I initially intended with my interviews and surveys with the stakeholders, because like ethics reason, like I mentioned, I wasn't able to do it this semester. But yeah, moving forward, in my next semester, I'll be designing the design thinking process and following through the stages to create the prototype that I sort of have in mind, but it's in quite early stages of planning.
That's great. Thanks, Xingtong. And I believe I can understand how long the ethics assignment can be taking, especially with the uni. So good luck with it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it gets approved and it can be in time for the next semester so I can actually do it. But yeah, it was quite unfortunate that that wasn't possible this semester.
Good luck with the project from Yue.
Thank you very much.
And we have a question from our keynote of Nora. Great idea. Do you intend to commercialize it and creating a Renoview platform or mobile apps only?
I wouldn't, it's still quite early stages, so I feel like I haven't really thought that far into creating it into a revenue platform. But what started my mindset in terms of supporting the nonprofit organizations was honestly just I see that their struggle, and I just wanted to come up with something that supported them in a sense. So yeah, to answer your question, I haven't really thought as far as revenue platform. But at the moment, I just want to have a mobile app that can actually help them in achieving further missions.
Great. Any more questions? And I do have a quick question from myself, because the Women's Research Engineers Network, WREN, we are thinking about becoming a non-for-profit in future. So from your perspective and for so far the research been doing, have you observed any, like the biggest challenge that the non-for-profit been facing?
Generally, it's just lack of skills, lack of leadership, because generally in the charity that I'm currently working close with, it's more like a food-based charity that provides, like food and like resources for people in a sense. So generally people that volunteer at a charity like that, they don't really have high technical expertise. They sort of lack in, management skills to oversee the fact that, technical adoption is very important. So, and the last one would be costs. But other than that, I feel like for WREN, because, we have so many talented women in research with, engineering skills, and like people like Nora that has, great leadership skills that might want to be involved. I don't think some of the barriers might not be as prominent comparing to other nonprofit organizations that I was looking into.
A good sharing, Xintong. And I would say yes, WREN is a bit different, but still similar in some way. Like what you said, limited resources. We are seeking for fundings to support us. As you say, all these amazing women, they volunteer their time to work for WREN for free. And also like Nora, they kindly, share their experience with a wider audience. So I'm really excited to make another further step for WREN, and really happy that you share the experience with us. Thanks. Nice. If we don't have any questions for Xintong, I will move on to the next presenter.
Thank you very much, everyone.
So our next presenter will be Noor Sally Ibrahim. And the title of the presentation is Feasibility Study of Recycling 3D Printed Composites for Circular Economy Applications. And again, I will give you a time cue at the last 1 minute, Sally, and I will stop sharing my screen and hand it over to you, Sally.
Okay, thank you, Jingjing. Okay, so I will start my presentation. All right, hello, good morning, everyone. Greetings from Malaysia. I'm Noor Sally Ibrahim from the School of Engineering, UOW Malaysia, and I'm a lecturer at University of Wollongong, Malaysia. And I'm also as a postgraduate student at the School of Civil Meaning, Environmental and Architecture Engineering, University of Wollongong, Australia. Today, I will be presenting my study titled Feasibility Study of Recycling 3D Printed Composite for Circular Economy Application. This research is not only based on the technical, but it's also aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, particular in the SDG 9, SDG 12, and also SDG 13, where they are goals in order to promoting the innovations of sustainable material processing using 3D printing, and also the reuse of post printed parts and also implemented of the waste on the application. So here's a brief contents of today's presentation, where I will talk about the background of study, the research aims and the objective, materials and the methods, which is the methodology, the result and the discussion, and followed by the conclusions and the future works. All right. So the demand of the use of 3D printing is keep growing, and they are used to produce functional parts in the short times, faster, and also custom. Can be customized. However, the growth of this process is also increase the volume of the post-use printed parts, which is the outcome from the field printed or the support structure on the parts, which this will be contribute to the material waste in the that can be parked under plastic waste. However, to address this issue, the circular economy model, which is reduce, reuse, and recycle, has been emphasized to recycle and to reuse the material, which is the 3D printed parts, to extend the product life cycles, and this will able to reduce the environmental impacts. So in this context, the recycled post-use 3D printed parts will be recycled to become a new filaments that can offer more sustainable material. So despite of their potential, the recycled filaments also will have some limitations that come from the degradations that will be happen into the virgin materials, such as the thermal stress and also the poor interfacial bonding. So further investigation through the feasibility, the mechanical performance, and also the improvements strategies should be implemented to the recycled composite filament, and also as essential to realize the closed loop additive manufacturing process. So the aim of this study is to evaluate the feasibility of recycling 3D printed composite filaments for sustainable reuse in additive manufacturing. And the objective is to fabricate the recycled filaments by using PLA, PLA wood, and also the ABS carbon fiber 3D printed specimen, and to compare the mechanical performance of the recycled filaments. So based on the study, the most filament used in the market is come from PLA and also the ABS. So what is the process involved? Three main commercial filaments has been used, which is the PLA, PLA wood, and also ABS CF, which is the ABS with the carbon fiber. So these three filaments will be printed and based on the tensile ASTM D634 using the Prusa 3D printer, and then the specimen will be crushed again and then mixing using the CMOL blade mixer. So this is important to get the homogeneous texture to the materials. And then in between of the process also, the drying methods has been used in order to reduce the moisture when they are exposed to the environment. And this is important to maintain the the strength elements on the material. And then after that, the mixture of the composite will be put into the extruder to produce the filament. And then when they are produced the filament at the standard diameter 1.75, this filament will be used into the 3D printer to form the dot ball specimen, and then we conducting the mechanical testing. So in the main process, they involve a shredding or the crushing process, mixing process, extrusion process, 3D printing, and with the mechanical testing. So what is the outcome? So as you can see here, it's a stress strain curve comparing the recycled materials and the virgin filaments, where from the result, the recycled PLA shows the highest tensile strength among the others recycled filaments at around 19.7 megapascal, but the value is still lower than the virgin PLA. So this is to show that they have some degradations happen during the process, such as thermal degradations and also the stress bonding in the filament. And for the PLA wood, for the recycled PLA wood, from the result, they show that it has a stable stress. The value of the stress is stable, to show that they have a good energy absorption, but they have a low peak strength. So this is maybe the influence of the natural fiber wood in the composite. And then for the recycled ABS with the carbon fiber, so this is more towards to the synthetic fiber. So these materials experience the most brittle behavior, where they form a sharp stress drop after yield, and this is make the material have a poor ductility. So based on this result, comparing with the virgin PLA and the virgin ABS, so we can see that the virgin PLA and the virgin ABS consists of the highest strength and better ductility compared to the recycled materials. So this is to show they have a degradation happen, and also the weak of the interfacial bonding. And this phenomena will reduce the mechanical performance for the recycled filaments. So as a conclusions, to recycle the 3D printed composite is feasible, but they have a degradation to reduce the performance, which is the overall performance of the filament. So this is important to optimize the filament by adding plasticizer or control the parameter during the process in order to maintain the mechanical strength. And one of the process that I have been conducting is by adding a virgin PLA towards to the recycled PLA, and during the process can see that the material improve, especially for the mechanical characteristic. So that one can be seen when the form of the filament is good compared if we not adding the virgin material. So the moisture content also must be controlled, and by adding the plasticizer also will be have one of the recommended based on the study to enhance the ductility. So overall, this work is support the shift from the linear economy to the circular economy towards to the closed loop additive manufacturing, and this will be aligned to the circular economy goals. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally, for your presentation. Do we have any questions? We got one from Sachinta. She asked, what could be the possible applications of these composites?
Okay, so since that this is the early stage of the study, so as they can be implemented to be as the prototype product, okay, or any simple product like they can also be implemented to for the any structure or any use product.
So I believe this is still early age of the study, but it's really interesting to say you're developing a recycled composite that will be implied in the real world later. And I would say, other than the mechanical strength of the composite, do you have you faced any other challenges when you are developing this prototype?
Especially during the extrusion process, in order to get a good surface texture of the filament is very challenging, especially for the recycle, because PLA is a biodegradable material, so that they are easily to soften during the process. So in order to get a very good filaments after recycle is very challenging.
Yeah, I can understand the biodegradation. It's on one hand, it's good in circular economy, but on the other hand, when we're talking about the strength of the materials, it's drawbacks. So how do you come from this? It could be very challenging. And we have another questions. Ira said, "Good idea, Sally." And we have one question from Nora. "Interesting research. Perhaps you may explore in infusing nanotechnology for advanced materials alternatives."
Yeah, sure. I will look forward for this technology as long as they have tools that I can use.
That's great that Nora can share some technologies that could be applied in your field, and you can also explore different potentials. That's great. If we don't have, thank you, Sally. So if we don't have any question for Sally, we will move on to the next presenter. I think I was just mute. Sorry, I'll start introducing Parisa again. So our next oral presenter is Parisa Sadate Shode J. Her presentation title is on designing gender-inclusive privacy frameworks for digital platforms in Australia, bridging ethics, policy, and practice. So again, I will give you a hint at the last 1 minute, Parisa, and now I will stop sharing and hand it over to you.
Now, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here. I'm Parisa, a PhD candidate at the University of Wollongong and a committee member of WREN Australia. Today, I presenting my work titled Designing Gender Inclusive Privacy Frameworks for a Digital Platform in Australia. So this research lies at the intersection of ethics, policy, and system design, and it explores how privacy risks disproportions affects women and gender diverse individuals, a gap often overlooked in mainstream privacy framework. So what is the motivation and context? Digital platforms like MyGov and My Health Record and education systems are essential to public life in Australia. So existing privacy frameworks tend to assume all users are the same. In practice, this means they often neglect the lived realistic of those most at risk, particularly women, non-binary people, and those from marginalized communities. This is especially concerning now as Australia undertakes major reforms of its Privacy Act. a critical window for embedding inclusion into law and infrastructures. The goal of this research was to build a gender-inclusive privacy frameworks that is both practical and policy relevant. I grounded the framework in three key areas: feminist HCI, which focuses on designing with attention to culture and emotional contexts. The other one, privacy by designs, proactive technical design philosophy, and the national policy landscapes, including current reform initiatives. So this is not just a theoretical exercise. It is designed to guide researchers, technologies, and policymakers. This study used mixed documentary approach. First, I reviewed
Sorry, I just want to double check. We are still on your first page of your presentation. It's still on the title page.
Actually, I found I can flip the slide.
I should change from here because I shared my screen. Okay, sorry.
No worries.
Can I explain again, or I should skip the slides?
You can go ahead with where you were up to.
Okay, it is the now methodology sections. The study uses a mixed documentary approach. First, I reviewed 112 peer-reviewed studies from 2010 to 2024 across Scopus, Web of Science, and IEEE Explore. I then analyzed three major Australia platforms, My Health Record, MyGov, and the University Learning Management System. And finally, I reviewed 27 national policy documents, including the Privacy Act review and e-safety guidelines. These were assessed using feminist HCI and privacy by design heuristic to identify systematic gaps. So across all three case studies, we found consistent failures in protecting gender privacy. The first use case, My Health Record, had confusing consent flows and was hard to use for people in emotionally vulnerable conditions. MyGov lacked flexibility for anonymous or safety-sensitive users, such as those experience domestic violence, and educational platforms relied heavily on surveillance features, reducing trust, particularly among gender-diverse students. So most importantly, none of these systems offered clear redress mechanisms, leaving users with little resources when harm occurred. To address these gaps and issues, I developed a 5-pillar framework. First, ethics, drawing on feminist ethics to confront structural inequalities. Second, technology, promoting privacy-enhancing tools like data minimization and differential privacy. The third one, participation, ensuring gender diverse users are actively involved in design and testing. Policy alignment, translating legal principles into system practices with real accountability. And finally, evaluation, introducing metrics to measure inclusion and transparency over time. So together, this framework aims to embed inclusion throughout the system life cycle. This framework is rooted in two key traditions. The first major key is feminist HCI, as proposed by Brazil, asking us to design with attention to power, emotion, and context, not just function. And the second major key tradition is privacy by design, introduces by and insists privacy must be built in from the start, not after completing the developing. So from the start, they use privacy by design and use some privacy techniques. Why does this matters? Because privacy harm is not equally distributed, and also some where they give up trying to manage their data, they consent fatigues, and also algorithm bias leading to misclassification or some exclusion, and reduce access to essential services. Too often, privacy governance focuses on all the time technical checklists rather than the real world experiences of users. We need some paradigm shifts from a universalist privacy model to context sensitive, inclusive approaches. This framework comes at a crucial time as the Australian governance revises its Privacy Acts and advances in digital identity strategy. So it must initialization participatory design, address intersectionality and recognizing how gender interacts with race, disability, and class, and prioritize inclusive privacy not as a feature but as a fundamental right. So these changes are essential if we want digital governance that works for all Australians. In conclusion, our digital systems are not neutral. They often reproduce and reinforce inequities, especially around privacy. This framework offers a way to design differently by centering ethics, aligning with policy, and involving those most at risks. It is actionable for designers building platforms, policymakers writing legislation, and public sector teams when deploying services. So looking ahead, I aim to pilot this framework in real-world settings and expand it through intersectional validation. Thank you very much for your attention. I look forward to your question.
Thank you, Parisa, for your presentation. Do we have any questions for her? I can say people are typing in the chat box. Ira said it's a very clear and good presentation.
Thank you so much.
I do have a quick question, Parisa. I am one of the users for MyGov, and I know lots of complaints about this app. It's not user-friendly.
Yeah.
So from your research perspective, do you have any advice for users to protect their information privacy, or do you have any, tips for us as a user?
Because recently most of the applications, for example, suffer from lack of privacy. But based on the findings from my study, privacy protections should move beyond, for example, some context sensitives, because now they don't care about the context sensitives or inclusive approaches, but uses platforms offer some consent controls or and also one of my suggestions all the time, read the privacy policies, because in the application they have some privacy policies. For example, when, where, or which company they want to share personal information. So yes, you can do this. And even my PhD thesis related to this, because I've searched about the health-related application like MyGov or HUPA and everything. Most of the applications, yes, has lack of privacy and don't care about the preferences of users or protection of privacy. They just focus on technical. So based on user preferences, now I want to develop some privacy guidelines which address all these gaps and care about the preferences and users' concerns all the time related to privacy and data information and personal information.
That's a good point, Parisa. Thanks for sharing. And I will be in mind to read the policy every time I download an app. That's really good point. And Nora said, all the best for your research studies, Parisa.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. So if we don't have any questions for Parisa's work, I would like to move on to the next session. So unfortunately, we have our first presenter not showing up today. So our next agenda will be our feedback. I will share my screen again. So, okay, now we're moving to the last but the most important, exciting part of this session, which is voting and closing. So I'll invite everyone to vote for your best presentation for this session. We have 3 amazing presenters who present their research work with us just then. So our engagement post, we share a link for the survey. You can click the survey link and vote for the best presentation for this session. And the best presentation will be published on our WREN website later on. And also, I would like to remind you, if you would like to receive a certificate of participation from WREN, you need to fill up this survey form as well. So please help us to understand how we can improve more to deliver more informative events for you in the next few months. And also, I would like to introduce you our social media platforms before saying goodbye, so we don't miss out it. We have a series of events planned for this year, such as career development workshops, panel discussion, and many more. So if you'd like to hear from us and following us what we are doing, please check on our social medias and stay tuned. Lastly, I would like to say a big thank you to everyone who are involved in this session to make this session finish beautifully. First, I would like to thank our wonderful keynote speaker, Ms. Nora Sani, for your wonderful speech and your engagement with our audience. Thank you, Nora. And I would like to say thank you to our WREN partners, especially the Australian government who has funded many of WREN's activities, especially Team Matthew Initiative Australia from the Australian Academy of Science. And I would like to say thank you to our WREN Symposium 2025 Organizing Committee and the WREN Symposium 2025 Scientific Committee. Thank you for all your hard work to make this symposium happen. And I would like to say thank you to the presenters for sharing your research work with us, and say thank you to the attendees and everyone who has participated in the chat. So thank you, everyone. Stay tuned for our next events. I hope I can see you soon. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. Keep in touch.
Keep in touch. Take care. Bye.
Bye.